Welcome to the Sultans of Spine podcast, Sultans of Sales, if you will. We are welcoming a guy that I've never met before, but we know a lot of the same people, and we actually work for the same company. Alexander Freaky is in Arizona and covers a large geography for Medtronic. And Alex, I wanted to. You've got such a unique backstory just from what I know about you, like some of the things that you've done in your career. And so I wanted to just let you give that introduction here. First off, thank you very much for joining. I love connecting with other like-minded individuals, with other just hunters, if you will, and people that are out there trying to improve their game in a lot of different ways. So good to have you on the show. And let's dig right in. So tell us about yourself.
So, thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me. Let's get right into it. So, I've been with Medtronic for 2 years. My whole lifelong career goal was to get into med device. So I've been at it for about 6 years trying to get into the industry. So let's back up to when I first started. So I got out of college. I have a degree in biochemistry and also a degree in business administration and marketing. So pharmaceutical sales industry, that was my first goal. It crashed in 2009. No one can get in unless you have 20 years experience. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And so I went into the nutraceutical industry as one of our mutual friends in Texas. Him and I, Max and I, have been working in the sports nutrition world for a long time.
Yeah. Max Baertschild, one of my best friends from high school. Yep.
That's right. He's a great guy and helped me a lot in my career. And so that was my career for about almost 10 years. But in the interim of all that, so in having a full-time career and all that stuff, I was actually an actor. I was in John Wick. I was in The Blacklist on NBC. I was a Planet Fitness monk. I was a WWE wrestler. So I did all that stuff in the midst of working for sports nutrition in the sports nutrition world. And then I'm a business owner and a small business owner, and now I'm have a full-time career with Medtronic. Yeah,
it's so awesome, man. And kudos to you, Alex. Like, that's just, I mean, you had a dream, you followed it, and eventually, kind of in obviously a different path, it came true. I mean, I don't think that I've ever met anyone that has been an actor on great movies like John Wick, a professional wrestler, and you're a big guy. What are you, 6'5", something like that?
Yeah, 6'5", yeah.
Yeah, big guy. So I'm glad we're sitting down in that level here. And but also has broken into medical devices where, I mean, you can put your degree to work. You can put some of that entrepreneurialism that you bring to your small business and to your community. That's awesome, and congratulations. So 2 years in, what I guess this is always a fun question that I've received, been a guest on podcasts. What's one thing you wish you would have known when you first started 2 years ago that you know today?
That's a great question. And there's probably a laundry list of a lot of different things. I wish someone told me to relax. Like, I go at 100 miles, like you, I go at 100 miles an hour all day long. And sometimes I worry about things that are out of my control, and I'm thinking like the case, something goes wrong in the case that is not even related to me. No. I think it's my fault, and I'm all over the place. And I wish someone said, "Hey, man, just do what you can do, and then what you do the best, and that's it." And I would have been like, "Oh, all right," but I'm worried about everything. So I wish that was the piece of advice someone gave me.
That's good advice, and it's good. It's good even now. Right. I mean, even now, hearing you say that, it's hard not to think. And for anyone listening to this or watching this when it airs, and even for me as the host of this, when you say that, I'm reminded of things that I can't control. So why do I even try? Right? Why do we even try? So control the controllables. That's the message that I live by, and I think it's great advice. What about your routine? So you're a very fit guy in the fitness world and whatnot, and just kind of, but it's hard to balance that when you're managing a big territory and trying to grow business and relationships. So What have you discovered these past 2 years in terms of your daily routine, maybe on a surgery day versus a non-surgery day? Do you still approach it with very strict intentions, like, you know, during your lifting days, or kind of what does that look like?
First and foremost, you know, I like to say I always make sure my nutrition is always on point. So I can't work out and burn those calories I need to do. And I'm not looking to build muscle. I'm looking to maintain what I have. So it's not like it's more so the fitness end. It's more I make sure my nutrition's on point all day, because I can control that. Yep. I can't control a surgery running late, or another one gets added on or something like that. I can't control those.
Can you dive into what you do for nutrition? I'm fascinated with that. As business travel picks back up, trying to pick up, you know, good habits again, of just like with you're on the road or you're at home. Like what's your game plan? What's your go-to?
You know, I used to meal prep. I used to cook all the time when I was a competitive bodybuilder, but I don't have to eat that way anymore. I don't have to eat those copious amounts of food. So I don't prep food anymore. I actually, I get it from meal prep companies. It's getting shipped to actually an order is supposed to arrive here in the next few hours. So I plan out, I get it from many different places. I test them out. I like to see how they are, see what the portions are like, the pricing. But the newest one I got into is Mega Fit Meals. I have a meal bag that has my laptop, all my notes and stuff, and compartments I can put stuff in when I'm on the road. And, you know, when you're in the hospital and surgery centers, you hang out in the lounge with the doctors and with the staff, which is like the best place. And they see what you're doing, and the conversations get going, and you're an hour in, you're like, oh, I have to go to surgery. You know, it's a good conversation because they're trying to be healthy too. But I buy prep meals from meal prep companies that come in a bulk. I get 12 a week. So I'll eat 2 to 3 Monday through Friday. On the weekends, and, you know, me and my wife do whatever we want to do. You know what I mean? But I'm structured for my week. I know where my food's coming from. I know my schedule throughout the day, and that's it.
And I just want, God, that's brilliant. I mean, I knew I was going to like you and like this episode, because that's something that I'm actually getting, you know, a lot from. I'm gaining a lot from that, and just am very interested in how just every single day. I say this all the time. I'm going to keep repeating it. Every single day is an opportunity to improve yourself, the lives of those around you. And this is an opportunity for anyone listening, myself included, to learn from somebody like you who's done it at a high level for a long time. Keeping your nutrition dialed is controlling the controllables. You choose what you put in your body every single day.
Yeah, and then that's it. You know, I mean, you can't go to the gym every single day, because sometimes your day is crazy where family comes first. You know, I'm not gonna miss time with my wife at night watching a show with her at 7 o'clock. I'm not gonna be pounding the waist like I used to. So if I can't go to the gym for 2 days in a row, but my food's on point, I don't feel guilty. I'm like, hey, you know, I did my part. My body's fed. My body's in good shape. I don't have to go, you know, hit a workout, and if I really can't get there, you know. But most of the times, really, I go in the morning. I go at most of the earliest case I have is 7:30 in the morning. I can get in the gym by 4:30, be out by 5:30, shower, and a half-hour drive to the surgery center. I know my schedule now. 2 years in, I can do that. So the days that I know I missed a workout yesterday, but I have a surgery tomorrow at 7:30 and I'm ready to go, I can get in the gym 4:30 for an hour and get there and be refreshed, you know. But yeah.
Well, it reminds me, brother, of exactly how I used to dial up when I was consistent in the gym. I would do early workouts, 5 to 6, shower, throw the scrubs on, drive to the hospital, start your day. It's just it's the energy that you get. And I'm sure that I've read articles, so I know that there's something here about the fat burning process or whatever it is, the energy that you get after that workout that you feed off of the rest of the day. There's got to be something there. I mean, I went for a jog this morning and just fed off of it all day. And I haven't had a chance to do anything weights wise, and that's okay. I've been literally slammed just trying to plan this call today with you, right? We had to kind of move some things around, but that's just life, and life gets in the way. So you take it when you can get it in the morning, usually consistently in the morning.
Yeah. Mornings are awesome. I used to, like, when I was growing up, I was like, no, I can't do that early in the morning. I can't get there. You know, it's just too early. I love the morning workout. Number one, everyone in the gym at that hour is a professional, because they're going to work like us. They're getting after their workouts. They're not talking. They're literally in their focus. get in there for a solid hour. And again, you said you feed off the energy. I'm up. I'm ready. I don't even need any more caffeine for the day.
Nope.
And it's just a good, positive thing you do for yourself that propels you forward for the rest of the day. I love it.
So I'm sorry, I did not mean to dive so deep into nutrition, but I'm certainly fascinated with it as I age. You know, I'm 41. I'm trying to stay in shape for my wife and just for my life, right? To run around with my kids and wrestle with them. Intermittent fasting is something that's really worked for me. And I know that that's kind of a fad or kind of a, you know, maybe not as great for some as others. It didn't work for my wife, for example. It doesn't work for everyone, but for me, it just gives my gut and just metabolism a chance to just rest and heal, if you will. And it also, when I've reduced that feeding window. So for example, I'll get up, just have black coffee, right? I use the LMNT supplement for kind of like a pre-workout with some sodium, potassium, magnesium. And then it kind of gives me a little bit of a spike of that sodium and those nutrition in terms of the minerals that you really do miss when you don't eat anything. And then I can work out. And then, you know, typically I'll break that fast and that midday, kind of that lunch is my breakfast. And then just have dinner. It's not anything crazy. It's just you're skipping that early morning meal. I don't do it every day. I'm not religious about it. Weekends are bacon filled and kids games and it's a free for all. But what are your thoughts on that? Like just fasting in general?
It's not a bad thing by any means. I've noticed recently if I don't actually eat food like a legitimate meal till like 10 or 11, it's almost like a lunchtime. I feel that when I have breakfast, I'll have that insulin spike, and I kind of get tired it's a weird thing. So I'm older now, I'm 34, but like my younger years of bodybuilding, I would eat like upon awakening, 2 hours regimen. My insulin response was different. And for the viewers out there, the listeners, insulin response is like how my body processes sugar. My energy levels were different. Now, if I have a good amount of carbohydrates right early in the morning, I may get that Thanksgiving tired, where I actually get a drop in energy in the morning. So that intermittent fasting, what you're talking about, is not a bad idea. If you don't feel hungry, I recommend don't eat unless, guys, girls, unless you are a bodybuilder and that's the thing you're doing. But if you're a professional and you're not hungry, don't just say, oh, it's noon, I got to eat.
Right.
Whoa, your body's not telling you you're hungry yet. Don't do it. It doesn't need it. So you can push that off a little longer. You know, I know we get busy in our jobs and careers where if you don't eat at 12, you may not get lunch. Somebody eats at 3, as you know. But if you don't feel it, maybe have something light. You know, maybe have something, you know, some type of vegetable or something, so you just fill your stomach up so you have a little energy. You know, don't have a heavy meal when you don't need it, because then you're going to get that afternoon crash. That crash.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, when I do break that fast, my favorite thing, if I'm home, is steak and eggs. It's just like it's my go-to. If I can cook, you know, typically I'll cook those steaks in bulk and then just eat them, reheat them right with some tallow and some eggs. And it's just like such a great meal. It fills you up. It's that satiety. So anyway, thanks for that, man. I love this stuff. And again, these are ways to improve, right?
Absolutely.
We got to have that energy, man. I mean, we're cut from the same cloth, right? Again, if you're 6'5", I'm a lot shorter than that, but you got the bald thing going. Usually you got a beard going. It's like, I like this guy, you know, he goes to the same barber. So what about your career, man? I mean, it took a while to get here, you know, a little bit of a windy road. You did some awesome things that you can draw from still today. I'm sure in the OR, you can talk about John Wick and just fighting Keanu, right? But what about your career arc? Where do you see it going? Where do you want it to go? And, you know, what do you need? What do you need to get there?
So, you know, I mean, listen, everyone has financial goals. I think that if you didn't, we wouldn't be in sales. It would be really weird. But, you know, I have a financial goal I want to hit, but in terms of, you know, positioning things, you know, I really, really enjoy working for Medtronic, and I'm sincere. The culture is fantastic. I can call any division and talk to any division, and they'll talk to me about anything. It's just like you're connected. It's really awesome.
That's right.
You know, I would like to move up in of course, in my division, in the GYN division. I really like the product line, and I really just want for the short-term goal, I want to take, since I'm a new territory manager, I've been a territory manager now for almost a year. I want to take my territory and get it back to where it was before all of our personnel changes and the issues we had.
Sure.
So I want to get that. That was my first goal. I want to get that squared away, and then I want to just broaden my horizons in terms of, you know, where can I take my position in this product line and see where I can go there. And then, hey, Medtronic is so big. You know, I don't ever have any aspirations leaving the company. You know, if there's something else I'm interested in, you know, listen, we're going to probably chat about, I have a back surgery coming up on Friday. I am super interested in spine right now because I am so much pain. It creates another level of passion, I think. You know what I mean? I can relate now. So, you know, who knows? We have so many divisions. We have so many amazing products, and we have such a great culture.
Right.
I just want to take this path as far as I can go with it, and you know, and the time I'm going to be here.
Well, it's well said, man. And like, honestly, like I did want to ask, and I did want to, you know, kind of dive right into that. If you're good with it, we could talk about that for a little bit longer here. Sure. So that's actually one of the first reasons why we did connect. I mean, we connected because of mutual friendships and just both being at the same company, but then you started having some pain. So maybe just, I mean, this is, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to talk to someone because your surgery is coming up. Is it Friday?
Friday. Yeah. Friday.
Yeah. So in 2 days. And so there's a lot of those patients out there. And I don't know how many of them are going to find their way onto this podcast, but just for those that are in this space, the patient-centric approach is the only way to go. I can't say that enough. So it has to be always about the patient. So let's hear from, and we'll do maybe another one post-operatively, right? So let's hear from a future back surgery patient.
Yeah. So it's, you know, being an athlete and a bodybuilder for the past 15, 17 years, when I call it, I never really had an injury. I never had nagging back injuries or pain or anything like that. So in the past, I'm going to say 6 months, my back gave out every once in a while. I had it just dropped, and I was a sharp pain went through my back, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm talking lower back. It's the L4, L5 is where my issues are. That's the most common. So from what I've been told, it's the lumbar area. It's the most common.
Lumbar.
Right. So, you know, I don't do heavy exercise. I don't squat like crazy. I don't do any overhead load-bearing movements like heavy anymore. I'm just talking many years ago. But then I thought to myself, like, wait, I've been beating myself up in the gym for the past 15 plus years. Something's got to give, you know. My suspension, I call it my spine. My suspension's only good for, you know, I mean, it's not a lifetime warranty here. You know, something's got to be happening. Then I started getting some more pain, and then all of a sudden, the next day I reached out to you. I woke up at 1 a.m. I'm in bed every night at like 8 or 9, and I'm sleeping by 10. It woke me up out of 1 a.m. I'm wide awake in pain.
Wow.
And I don't know, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know where to move, how to stretch. I go, I got to get this figured out. So I did a few things prior to that. Some things didn't work. And then I reached out to you. I'm like, listen, I got to see a doctor. I got to, you know, let's connect me with someone you might know. And, you know, as a patient, me being, you know, working for Medtronic and in this field, you know, seeking out a professional like that, you know, finding the best person to talk to, the best group to talk to, and getting results and getting myself back together. I'm having my first child in December, and life.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, life is right in front of me where I'm going to have a baby to chase after. I cannot be keeled over and not be mobile, you know, and I'm like, all right, I got to get this figured out. And once my pain started to affect my daily life, where I'm limping into certain ORs and doctors like, hey, what's wrong? Did you get into like a cage fight with a bear? I'm like, no, my back's hurt. I'm like, what? You know, like,
what guy looks like you, like invincible. Again, I keep going back to this John Wick. Were you a villain on John Wick? Were you one of the?
I was. Yeah, I was the guy who comes out of the water that he beats up in the pool.
Right.
Yeah, I had a wig on. Yeah, and then I was another guy. I was another guy too. I was Yusuf's bodyguard. So
That's right.
I get shot in the head. Bring him down the stairs.
Nice, good times. Well, but hey, you know, larger than life, big, strong guy, to the point where Hollywood recognizes that even you are dealing with back pain and need to, you know, seek professional help. And so I was so grateful to hear that we got you in touch with the district manager who knows the surgeons, and then you're going to see a surgeon, and hopefully can get you some relief.
Yeah,
man,
I mean,
at least subsidence of pain.
Grateful I reached out to you for that, and then they, by means, those two guys I talked to, I'm not going to name names, but those guys are phenomenal. Sure. I mean, he was talking to me on a Saturday afternoon. Like, he was literally taking time out of his weekend. He's like, oh yeah, he asked me all these questions. Then he passed me off to one of his reps, and then he got in contact and seeing that week. And I was like, I beyond grateful. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm a connector in a lot of different ways, right? For work, but also for just doing good and helping people. And I mean, absolutely. Sure. I'm glad you reached out. I mean, I think, whether it's mental health, which is a big focus this month, or physical health, it's okay to seek help and say, hey, I need help. Like in any way, and there are people out there to help you. And if it's not going to be me, then I can find somebody that can help. And, so if you came to me and you asked for Texas, I would have a pretty good idea of the surgeons that I'd send my family members to, right? Or my good friends to. And so that was awesome that it worked out that way.
Yeah.
And so
fantastic.
Are you, do you have any fears? Are you nervous? Are you, I mean, you're around surgery all the time, but OBG, so not something you can.
Yeah, completely different. Definitely different. No, I don't. I was in end of April. I was put under for an epidural injection. By the time I knew it, I was awake and walking out of there. I mean, either it's called a micro or a partial discectomy. Is that what they call it? I think is the name.
Very common.
It's a 45-minute minimally invasive procedure.
Nice.
I've talked to many people who had it. I don't have any reservations by any means, but
that's awesome. Yeah, it's a routine. I mean, haven't done one. I haven't had one, but I've been involved in this for quite some time. It's a pretty routine procedure. Right. So they're just going to decompress, take pressure off your nerve root, which is what's causing you pain. And I hope it goes well, and I look forward to hearing from you after surgery. I'll check in with you Friday, and we can talk offline about all of that. But pulling for you, praying for you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You bet. So in the interest of time, we got a little bit of time left. You good on time? You still got a few more? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about sales in general, right? It's an art form. And, it's something that I study. And, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Sultans of Spine. And also this is, Sultans of Sales is kind of evolving into, people like yourself that are in sales, but maybe not necessarily spine today. And, I've had different guests on this show that just hasn't aired yet that are, outside the industry completely, but are still some sort of a medical related or some sort of sales related or something like that. So what do you think about so what have you learned in relationship sales? You hear that term, you've had to do that in probably all your different walks of your career in different parts of it. So what are your thoughts on just how to manage a territory, how to manage relationships? Let's park there for a little bit and talk relationship sales with Alex.
So, of course, it's going to say it's by far the most important thing is building relationships with people, because I buy from people I like, and I shop where I like, and if I have good customer service, we all know that, and that's just in regular life. These things that these devices we sell, especially in medical device or any industry in general, they're costly, and you got to trust someone. When you're talking to them about, I'm telling them a new indication we're talking about, and they may not have heard that our device does it, but they're going to trust that Alex is telling them, like, hey, wow, I trust Alex, so then he must be telling me the truth about the indication. They don't have to go look it up, or the conversation doesn't have to. They're not scratching their head. They trust me, and I think trust is the biggest part of relationship selling. If your customers don't trust you and don't use you as an actual resource, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing correctly. I mean, I'm in the OR, and some doctors are asking me questions about some things. I really feel so empowered And I'm like,
It's
wow,
amazing.
like surgeons talking to me as I'm their resident. They're asking me what I'm thinking about some things, and
Right.
not what they're physically doing, but they're just asking me about,
Your advice. Yeah.
Right. It's great. It's great.
You mentioned something, and I completely agree with you. And it's how I've built my territory and kind of my brand is through trust. And trust is built in a lot of different ways. I'd be really interested and I'm sure our viewers would be interested in hearing, how do you build trust? What has worked? What doesn't work? I mean, whatever, wherever you want to take that one.
Under promising and over delivering all day, every day.
All day,
I
baby.
never,
I love that.
ever, I'm going to repeat that 100 times. I never, ever tell a doctor I'm going to do something, or a nurse, or a facility, or anyone, and not do it. That is by far the worst thing you can do. And it's happened to me in other facets of my life. Not me, but things in buying things, whatever. And I will always under promise and over deliver, because that builds that trust level. And it's like, if I say I'm doing something, I'm going to be there, I'm there. I will do anything to be there, but I will never steer my customers down a different path that they're not going to trust me when I talk.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's interesting you say that. I just got into kind of a discussion debate about, sense of urgency, right? Because, people that say, in my job today, I sit in a different seat than I did when I was in a role similar to yours, right? It's just different. Yeah. And, sometimes we have to make big bets or not promises, but we have to make claims that then we go figure them out with a plan, right? So everything's about strategy, right? And then figuring out how we can work through that strategy to create actual deliverables and output and tangible things, which will then drive value. And the key piece to all of that, again, is back to your point, is communication, relationships, and trust. And, trying to build those in many ways, I have to cross the chasm basically from sales, right, under cranial spinal technologies, into marketing, into HR, into sales ops, right, even into our new operating unit, right, Intelligent Data Solutions, right, which was announced last week, which is super exciting. And, that's nested at CST today, but it's just a great thing for Medtronic to be focused on that. And so, yeah, I mean, the under promise over deliver is absolutely how we're cut from the same cloth in that regard as well. That's very much what I did to build my territory as a rep. But I almost want to say, I have to today almost approach that differently. And it's interesting. Yeah. I'm realizing that as I'm vocalizing it, right? There needs to be kind of a more consideration of things like time frame, of budget, of impact to people and priorities, right? When you're only got so much time in a day to do things, and it's like, what is valuable? What am I trying to accomplish? So I think the worst thing about what I try to fight against is apathy and status quo. Those things drive me nuts. And, as a leader, I try to lead by example, and I try to lead by doing things and getting things done and just engaging with that same passion and energy, right, that we build in the morning in the gym, that we sustain through nutrition, right, and through good habits. And that when you're there, because it's all about you play the way you practice. And if you think about it as an athlete, right, growing up playing soccer or whatever sports, right, did you play sports, in high school? Basketball. Yep. So, So you practice, a certain way so that when you're in the game, you know how to play, what shots you're going to hit, right? Kind of where you are, whether it's low block or whatever your game ended up being, hook shots. But that's where I'm getting. It's like sometimes and this is I'm rambling, but hey, welcome to the show, right? This is kind of part of my charm. I'm taking you on a journey here, and then not really sure where the end is, but I think sense of urgency, conviction needs to be balanced and blended with teamwork, with trust, communication, and ultimately you combine those together to get results. So that's kind of what I've learned. Just take it for what it's worth in this different seat.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, there's you can build a territory many different ways. I've met reps that I look at them, I'm like, how are they doing it? And they're doing it. but it fits them. You can't take. I've never taken what someone else did and did it myself and it worked. You take small pieces of everyone and you kind of mold yourself and learn that way. But yeah, territories are built strange ways, but all have the same kind of mode, the same molds to it.
Yeah, they do. And there's some similarities, right? There's some ebb and flow. And, I think the key thing is just be consistent. I mean, if that's anything, if I've learned anything, it's just be consistent about your approach. It takes discipline. It takes hard work. Yep. And so you tried so hard and for so long to get into this industry. You've learned some things now that you're doing now to build out your territory and to continue to grow it. Like you said, back to, let's talk about teamwork. Cause I've also, talked with Jacob, right? I know he's one of your teammates. You guys have actually posted on about teamwork on LinkedIn, which I loved.
Yep.
I think it's such a critical piece to the whole game. And so talk to
huge.
Me about, that and just the value of teammates and just kind of your thoughts on that.
Jacob and I talk at least 2-3 times a day, and he bounces ideas off me. He's like, hey, I just had this conversation and I'm doing this, and this email came all through, and we talk about everything. And if he left for a day, I can jump into his shoes, no problem, and do everything he did, vice versa. That's the kind of synergy we have to have. I'm out for 2 weeks with the surgery, and we're meeting tomorrow for coffee. I'm sending over my calendar. He's going to run with everything. And I have full confidence that nothing will get left unturned.
He's going to run it like he would his.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the type of teamwork you need to have. I trust him. He trusts me. And we communicate, trust communication all day. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think you played basketball growing up. And so do you draw from that? I mean, just your lessons of team sports and.
Yeah. Definitely. It always has a piece of it, but I think, team in sports is I feel it's different than it is like in real life, because that's a short-term team though. Like you have a game to play. That's it. We're talking like, him and I, we have a long-term goal we have to accomplish, and we work together to get that. It's the same. All right.
No, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? It's the same aspect, but a game is, you only have so many games in a season.
Yeah.
We're playing seasons and seasons.
The long game. Absolutely.
Right. It's a long game. We plan for longer strategies and things like that. So I take pieces of it, and then I also created we created other pieces of that aspect of team through our careers, I think.
I like that, man. That's well said, because what else comes to mind is in sports, the game has pretty much not changed. The rules are pretty much the same, occasional here and there. Like the crazy game last night with Ayton with that putback, which was incredible. But the video review is just stealing all the thunder. It was such a anticlimactic way to end such an epic game. But what I'll say about our space, Alex, is that the rules of the game are constantly changing.
Oh, and they'll change every minute of the day.
Through technology, through hospital policies. Yeah, it is a bit different, because not only is, like you said, it's not finite. It's not just like a game and then you go home. It's kind of like you're always playing or practicing, right? You're always trying to grow. And the rules might change without any sort of notice, and you just got to figure out a way to go get it done. So
for sure. Absolutely. I completely agree.
Well, that's, we're kind of coming to the end of our time, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity. This is something new that I'm doing. It's I guess a bit of a wild card, is to ask me any questions, or to maybe say anything you'd like to say, to the audience, anything that's on your mind.
So for you, you've been in the space how long now? Like in terms of medical?
About 13 years. I started in 2008.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you've been in this space as long as I've been in sports nutrition. So we're veterans in our own respect in what we've done in our careers. If you had one career path in terms of your experiences in the past 13 years, if you had one direction you would have told your previous self to go, And because I said, we all get to our goal in a roundabout way, right? Like I did, I got it to the big half circle and it came back around.
Right.
If you started, so if you were with it doesn't have to be any company, what would you do and what would your path be from associate to rep to whatever? How would you take that and, would you get experience for 2 years and would you maybe do another product, or how would you do that?
Yeah, it's really a good question, man. Because I only know my path, and it's hard to think like if I were to go back in time and redo it, like if I would do it differently, right? Because it's working out. But I will say that, I mean, I answered a similar question on I think LinkedIn. First off, I think that the game is changing, right? Not just the rules of the game, but just the actual game, like the mediums of communication, right? Podcast, YouTube, LinkedIn, right? Social media. It expands our reach and our draw and our impact.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important for, me at this stage of my career. I think that this is absolutely the digital strategy is the way of the future of how we're going to continue to impact and improve spine care, how I can reach other surgeons and competitive hiring reps and reach our own reps, reach our Medtronic reps that get life and get light from me and any of my content. That's outstanding. So I guess my question is, or my comment is, I can only do this. I can only share this content and the story because I've spent 13 years building it, right? And so I was 6 years in B2B sales, right? A year of travel is counted as an MBA, right? In negotiation and haggling, right? So 6 years of B2B sales, and then 2 years as an associate sales rep, 2 years as a sales rep trying to figure it out. So really it's 10 years almost before I really started making, great money and just kind of getting into it, right? 10 years, so that's taking all the way back to, when I started in my sales career, which was in 2002. So a lot longer. So, but just think about it. It took 10 years to really start hitting my stride where I was a trusted, valuable asset in the room, where surgeons wanted me there and nobody else, where I grew a business and grew relationships, and that trust that you spoke of, it took a long time. And so I think that I appreciate it more. I savor it, the wins, I cherish it, because the callus is on my hand, and the pain that I've gone through of not succeeding, of like, recently losing my job, it's still an evolving thing. And those are things that I feed off of today. So I think that for anyone starting out, if you're struggling, if you are trying to break in, whatever it is, wherever you are, if you're, new to this space and you're not where you need to be, maybe you're on the clinical side or you're doing things where, I would just say, just cherish that moment, right? If you're a clinical rep or if you're an associate rep, you have a penalty-free apprenticeship. And what I mean by that is you can learn everything that you need to eventually get your own thing, your own territory and your own gig. Just so learn it. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, I loved it. And I started a little bit late, I guess, like you, but so that I was ready to go when it was game time. I was ready to go. Like you, I wanted to start a family. So I needed to, make a certain amount of money to feel comfortable bringing someone into this world. I mean, these are real things and these are real dynamics. And so for me, I had to, go do that. But I don't honestly, man, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing. I think maybe just what I've learned is just never waste a mistake. Never waste something that maybe you would have done differently. And then just as long as you can learn from it and apply it to the next fork in the road, then that's progress. I think that that's ultimately what this thing is all about.
I agree. I agree. And I have one more question. It's a quick one.
What's up?
How important do you think social media is to the medical device industry?
More than you know, more than I know, extremely important. I mean, I'm working, I can't really talk about them, but I'm working on some strategies, high level stuff with leadership that, if I'm right, which I've kind of been doing some testing of it, looking at the analytics, looking at some of the reach and exposure that I've had recently. I mean, some posts are hitting 60, 70,000. Some are are just getting crazy amounts of engagement. I've done, different types of medium, whether it's text, video, and just those have different engagement points, right? So I really think that from a surgeon standpoint, social media, grow your practice, right? The website days of SEO and expensive marketing campaigns, that still can get you a lot, but everybody's already here. They're already on YouTube. They're already on LinkedIn. They're already on Instagram and TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
So just go to them with your story. Alex, that's exactly what I've done on LinkedIn over the last 5 months, not even 5 months, 4 months. And I'm just being honest because you can't fake this. Like, I'm just telling my story. And again, back to what I said, I can only tell what I know and how I've known it. But I think that I've developed the ability to make some calls and to be a thought leader in the space and to talk about where I see things going. And man, I think this is a double down policy. I think I am encouraged and thrilled to death that Medtronic supports, and that, I was from the get-go, from the jump with my boss. I was being open and honest about, hey, I've got an idea that I'm gonna start just dumping content on LinkedIn, and here's why I'm doing it. And he's like, go do it. Don't get into trouble. Don't make claims, but just do it.
Right.
And
I agree.
Not everybody can, and that's okay. Both my parents were writers. I consider myself a storyteller.
Sure.
And I feel like it's just something that comes natural to me. And again, I said this on a podcast I recorded earlier today with Dr. Chua in Arizona. And I basically told him, this is an opportunity for me to practice. This is an opportunity for me to share my story, but then refine it, because there's nothing, as you know, in sales, you have to practice your pitch. And so leading up to my public speaking engagements, leading up to my presentations in front of executive and leadership, I'm going to get that story dialed to where I'm not saying ums and ahs, and I'm not forgetting the momentum of the storyline, because I'm been practicing it nonstop. And so for me, that's a byproduct of why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it for other reasons. I think social media is massive, man. And that's why I wouldn't do this if I didn't think that. It's not ego. It's not about seeing my face. I know there's some people that are tired of seeing my face, and I'm, hey, God, sorry, this is how God made me. My mom loves me, my wife loves me, and my dad. That's fine. That's all I need. But what is it? You're good enough. You're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you, right? Stuart Smalley. But what I guess where I'm going with all of that is that I'm doing this. I'm very intentional about everything that I do, and I'm doing this for a very specific purpose. And I think that it's starting to kind of show itself. Yeah.
Love it, Jay.
Great questions, though, man.
I appreciate you being on here, man. Yeah, I love it, and we'll continue to keep in touch and do everything.
Thank you for the time. Best of luck in your surgery. I'll be thinking about you, be praying for you, and the surgical team. Know you're going to do great. And, maybe we'll do this again afterwards when you're on the road to recovery, and you can talk about that experience and, kind of what that's been like for you. And congratulations on the new arrival. That's big time news, man. Being a dad is the best.
I appreciate it. Awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Alex. Well, thanks for joining the Sultans of Spine, the Sultans of Sales. We are excited about today's episode. Tune in every single Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Central. And we'll see you next time. See you later, bud.
All right. See you, Jay.
All right, man.
Bye.
Be good.